Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how I took over 90 completely separate different spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheet and CSV files, and I was able to merge them into one uh, record, one Excel spreadsheet that had 100,000 rows, more or less. So I'm going to jump right into it. This is not a tutorial by any single means, and by the way, I'm going to upload the actual code to my GitHub, dwainbrowne/clean Excel data. So the problem that I have, let me just back up just to make sure that you understand what is it that I'm solving for, just to make sure that we're clear. So the problem that I have is I have multiple different Excel spreadsheets. This was my attempt at doing this before. So I have a bunch of different Excel spreadsheets. So I have like Excel 1, Excel 2, Excel, right? Like just all different types of Excel. Then some of them are like CSV, CSV2, CSV3, right, etc. You get the idea. So there's all different types of files. Go away, right? And what I'd like to do is merge them into one Excel spreadsheet. So you say, well, the simple thing is just copy and paste the data into here. Well, that's easier said than done. Problem number one is that all of the Excels have slightly different table format, so the columns are slightly different name. Problem number one. Problem number two is that some of them are Excel, some of them are CSV, etc. And so copy and paste, and it just becomes a nightmare. And then thirdly, there's potential duplicates in each one of them. So what I really want to do is I want to kind of programmatically do this. So I'm going to write a Python script. It's going to read in all of these Excel spreadsheets, and then it's going to sort of merge those files together. And I say by write, ChatGPT writing it. So that's what we're going to do, and I'll show you how I got it done. So first of all, went across the ChatGPT, then I'll go all the way up to the top. So I'm not really going through step by step on how I actually did the entire thing, but you'll be able to walk through the entire code and figure things out for yourself. So I was like, hey, I have to solve following problem. I'd like you to help me read a bunch of Excel file and merge it into one, right? So I said, okay, fine, import these things. So this is what I actually wrote. This is literally the code that I wrote because that's the extent of my Python knowledge, okay? So I imported Panda because apparently that's what you need to do manipulation of Excel. This here is to do some numbering. This here is to read Excel. So it's called OpenPyExcel, and this basically read it. So first of all, first version of the code looked like this, which was fine. Had some some headers, so I was able to read the file. So the only thing you need to do is just change this file path to your file path. It will read the file over, and then secondly, it's going to take the headers and standardize on the headings. The problem that I ran into this code is after it did the heading, it's going to standardize on the heading from the Excel spreadsheet and to try to concatenate. The problem that I ran into with this code is that it actually there was no problem with this code. I take that back. What I ended up doing was I gave it some examples of the headers that I have. So what I did was I went into the Excel. By the way, this is what the Excel file looked like. I'm going to have to blur out some of this information just because of privacy, but I'm basically merging a bunch of records together. So I'll show you what I mean. So what I did is I went into the Excel spreadsheet, a few of them, 3 or 4 of them. My computer's running a bit slow. And what I did is I basically just opened discard. Oops. Yeah, so I did that. Copied the Excel column. Again, I'm going to have to blur this information out. So copied the Excel column and then paste it in. Just so I have so it could give ChatGPT some ideas on what the columns look like, so it could kind of come up with a merger for me. And so what it did, it basically did this, right? So I got business name. That was just because the Excel was just kind of cut off. Business name will merge to business name. Business name will go to business name. Number will go to number of employees, right? And then I was like, you know what? Let me not make any spaces. So I changed that so we don't have any spaces, right? Just say modify the code to make not have any spaces. And then I said, you know what? I wanted to have a progress bar so that I could see the progress of the code as we kind of go along. So I did that. Then I got some errors. The errors were all relating to mergers and mergers and mergers. So I kept doing the same thing over and over. Fix the code, merge, fix code, merge, fix code. You get the idea. So it kept going down. So that's just to on and on and on because of all reading kind of problems. So what I'm left with is a lot more robust code where it gives me all of the different mergers and is able to merge email 1, email 2 into all email. and concat the email addresses and merge all the different business URLs into the thing. So this is what the Excel, the column the folder looks like. I have basically this list here, and what I'm going to do is get it to merge it into one. So I'll show you how that works now. So this is the Python script, which again, let me just push it up right now. Okay, so you can now find that on my GitHub library, clean Excel data. So if you click on this guy here, it will show you the full Python code. You can download it, run it. So let me show you how to use it so you understand what to do. So once you have it, put it in a folder, any folder, just open up Python. Obviously you need to have Python installed on the computer. If you're not certain about that, go look at one of my previous videos. And once you have that, like I said, I've already pointed the URL to this path. So if you go to the top of the folder here, so I just basically took that, replaced that with my actual path. It's going to look for Excel and CSVs together, and it's going to merge them. And then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, this is the file name that I give it. So I'm just going to put 007 because I went through multiple different iterations. And then if you notice here, I got no 007 in this folder. Okay, and then what I need to do is just basically just run it. So GitHub, so Python, name of the Excel, read-excel-py, press enter. Now the reason why I wanted to put the progress bar is because it was just a lot of data, and I also put the number of rows that it's processing for each Excel. So 1300, 800, 2000, 2004, 34, etc. So you can at least get a sense of how much progress is being made on the Excel. This way, because what I found, it was just basically chewing up a bunch of memory. So if you see here, right, it was chewing up a bunch of memory. Python, actually it's not doing a lot of memory this time, but it was before, and I had no way of knowing what was going on and what the problem was. So this way at least I could tell that it's actually doing something. So yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna pause it so at least run up this video. Okay, so I did get some errors, but at least I know that the code will run consistently. So you see here on the window installation, CSV error tokenizing data, expected 13 fields in the soft 14, right? So a couple errors like that's prevented it from going through, but the code is robust enough that it will just continue. So at least you're going to get the data merged together, right? Because that was one of the problems, is that the data was kind of breaking the files. So give it another second or two and we should be able to get that file completed. Okay, so it's completed, and one of the things that I asked it to do was to be able to give me a full review. So CSV, give me a total count of all the different files, 7 rows, 34 rows, etc., etc. And then we finish it. And then if I go back to here, somewhere in here, I should see that file. So there we go, right? So 2004 Excel CSV merge output, and if I open it, if I open up the Excel, okay, it's taking a little time because the system is just a little slow. Now, okay, there we go. Right, so if I open up the Excel, this is what I got. Now, there is still a little bit of problem here with this one here, but for the most part it's perfectly fine. So if you see, I scroll down, I have 92,000 records, right? Almost at 100,000. And like I said, I have to blur some of this information for YouTube. However, see here, name, number of employees, contact, first name, email address, etc. The only downside is phone number, phone, etc. The only downside is now is that it has some other columns that have slightly different names, like company name. So it put those separately, and job title, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in another video, I'm going to take those columns that can merge them together with ChatGPT so that I can take all the data and merge them into one, if that makes any sense. So that we have a standardized set of columns across the entire Excel. So that's what I'm going to do in the next video. But The source code can be found on my GitHub, so I'll let you do that. I'm going to add a README file so at least you could look at it. And if you got any value from this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, where we talk about all kinds of random stuff about trying to get just work done. All right, have a great day. Bye.